everyone for joining us. Today we are talking with Mark, who can memorize a list of 20 or more random, unrelated words. He hates olives and loves Moose Tracks chocolate ice cream. Hey, I'm a fan too. He looks like Russel Crow and was once the Chucky Cheese. He wishes he was from Burlington, Vermont, which I am familiar with, and he is telling us about his life in Japan. So welcome.
Welcome, Mark.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for the introduction. I remembered I had filled out like a kind of questionnaire form for you guys, but it has been a while, so I've forgotten my answers. I don't look like Russell Crowe, and the other stuff's pretty much true though.
That's hilarious. We have a good time with those questions, so thanks for being a good sport with that. I'm going to start our famous 7-minute timer. So there we go. And we just start with, I'm going to ask how you ended up in Japan. Can you kind of give us a...
Wow, well, 7 minutes is not going to be enough, but no,
All right.
I'll shorten it. Long story, very short. I'm an old man now. I'm 45, and but I first came to Japan 20 about almost 25 years ago. It was my first job right out of college. I had minored in Japanese, and then found a job. This is back in '97. I am old, but teaching English to junior high school kids. So I spent a year at that time in Japan. Fell in love with the culture, even more so than just from textbooks and the internet, that I had seen before. And so I'd always kind of longed to come back. Came back in 2004, 2005. I taught at 2 universities. Met my current wife. We didn't get married then, but we dated then, kept in touch. And then bringing us to the present, 2018, she and I rekindled our conversation. She came to visit me in the United States. Said, why don't you come live in Japan? I said, why not? And then, so 2019, I came back over, we got married, and here we are.
Wow, you did great, Mark.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Did you always want to live in Japan, or what was, it was honestly that teaching experience? Did you prior to that have a desire?
Yeah. Well, the living here like permanently part, because I'm probably here for the rest of my life now. That didn't come until later. I had an interest in Japan initially when I was a teenager from like martial arts stuff. It's a typical guy answer, but I studied like judo and things when I was younger. I couldn't throw a house cat right now, but back then I loved it. So I just. Like when you're practicing martial arts, you learn how to count to 10 in Japanese. So by the time I went to college, I thought, hey, everybody minors in Spanish, or I had taken Spanish in high school. I'm going to do something different. Let me try Japanese. And then, so it just basically it snowballed from that.
Right.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Japanese is not a simple language to learn.
It's not. I get that question a lot. I would say English is equally difficult. I wouldn't say... And then for different reasons, because Japanese is complicated. But in English, we don't realize it because we're native English speakers. You don't realize it till you teach it. But we have so many idioms, like so many phrases that don't make sense on the surface. Or, just think about like verb conjugation, like I go, but yesterday I went, right? Okay. Right. Those are 2 different words that don't even share a common letter. Like you just have to memorize that stuff. But we don't know because we grow up doing it, right? But if you learn it as a second language, it's crazy. So
yeah, English doesn't have any. They have a lot of rules, but we don't follow any of them. That's what it is.
Right. We have tons of irregular. Right.
Yeah, tons of rules, but none of them actually are real rules. They're just suggestions.
Right.
Much like our culture too. Yeah.
What has been one of the challenges about the relocation? Something that's been difficult or something that surprised you in this?
Yeah, well, this time, I was sort of prepared because I had that experience in 97, 98, and in 2004, 2005. So I kind of knew what to expect. I do get the question, what's the biggest cultural difference between Japan and the United States? And I think people expect the answers like chopsticks and taking off your shoes when you come inside. But the bigger kind of thing that you notice is a sort of group think mentality here versus in America, we emphasize like individuality and creativity. I mean, they encourage creativity here, but very much it's about being a part of the culture. So without going into any kind of like political topics here, like take mask wearing, for instance, it was a non-issue here because everyone just, if the government, it wasn't mandated, it just the government said, hey, please wear your mask. So everybody did. And it just a group think mentality, regardless of where you stand on that issue. You see what I'm saying? Like it just wasn't even an issue where in America, we're quick to speak out about our individual freedoms and whatnot.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's an interesting take on it. Yeah.
yeah, that is very, and just a different upbringing, I'm sure, to be in that headspace. So,
Yeah.
but now we're going to move on to some favorite places, like when people come to visit or that you'd like to share with people when they do see Japan. I'm sure there's some places.
Well, you for sure, spend a couple of days in Tokyo. I mean, that's where you're probably going to come in anyway. You got to see Tokyo, but don't spend all your time there. Get like I live out in the countryside now. I mean, literally outside my front door, there are rice paddies, and
Oh,
yeah, and I'm surrounded by mountains and stuff too, and so one of the things I love about Japan is it seems like an infinite array of things to see and do. You never run, you might see 100 temples and shrines and stuff, but each one's different. There's still something always around the corner that's fascinating. But to specifically answer your question, Mount Fuji and, you definitely want to see like some Buddhist temples and some Shinto shrines, just the architecture alone, some of it's hundreds of years old and it's just fascinating.
Yeah. I'm going to squeeze in our favorite question, which is tell us about the food, Mark. What's your favorite food?
yeah.
I love sushi, and that's a predictable answer, but it is really top quality here. Not everything, like on a sushi plate, there'll be sea urchin, which is just, it's an acquired taste, and I haven't acquired it yet.
Okay. I love that honesty. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So tell us a little bit about the people and the locals outside. I mean, about, once you met your wife, though, others in the community and kind of assimilating, I guess, is a good way to.
Sure. Very friendly. It's extremely hospitable. And, I'm from the South in the United States. I'm from Alabama. I don't know if you can hear my accent, but
A little. Yeah.
I try to turn the volume down on that accent when I do things like this. But in a way, it's kind of like the hospitality from. Oh, I think we ran out of time there, but it's kind of like.
Go ahead.
Should I finish my question? Yeah.
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 It's kind of like the hospitality that you get in the Deep South, where like if we were going to have company over, you really kind of make a bunch of food. You really want, you want the house to be clean and everything, like, I mean, I think anybody, that's not just a Southern thing, but, you really kind of go out of your way to make your guests comfortable. And Japanese people are like that, just in an Asian way.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. We did want to spend a few minutes talking about your artwork too, right?
Yes.
I've got two pieces here I could show you guys.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I don't know if it's bad. I guess like I work from a kind of GoPro that's on a tripod. I can just like kind of scan it over.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
I got it hanging up over here.
Seems easiest for
It's
you.
gonna be a little wobbly at first.
No, that's all right.
We make just to be clear, we make paper, Japanese paper. It's called washi.
Okay.
And so we do it from start to finish. We grow the trees, we harvest the trees, we steam them. There's a whole. It's like a year-long process. But then the final, some of the paper is used for like things like a paper screen door, but then some of it's used for art. Like this one woman has made this kind of it's a. Let me, if I can get my hands right here. This dress.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's like a baby dress that it was actually in a museum for a little while because that's just paper.
That's
And there's actually little baby shoes that go with it. And then my wife does these kind of they're called orizome panels, and they they've also been in a few museums, and then like there's a kind of a famous hotel resort around here that commissioned her to do like the backdrop for every bedroom. So there's all these like panels in all these bedrooms and stuff. So
Wow.
Cool.
So you guys make the paper there and make those paper. It's very cool.
Yep.
And how did you get started in that market? We're going to take over extra time, but I'm just
No, I'm
curious.
fascinated. Yeah, no, I think it's worthy.
Well, that was my wife's name's Haruka. That was what she was doing when I got here. Now, excuse me, I had met her back in 04 and 05 when I was teaching at a university. We worked for the same company. We weren't in the same department or anything, but we worked for the same company. And you know how way leads on to way. She years later, I find out she's making traditional Japanese paper in the countryside. And but yeah, I came to it through her, but I've been in the process of learning everything from the, excuse me, like tomorrow we got to go out and do some weed eating around the trees today,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying is like we do everything from the actual like harvesting and gardening aspect of it to, steaming the trees and stripping off the bark and, eventually turning it into paper.
Wow, that's fascinating. I'm so glad we got to talk to you, Mark.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting way of thinking of travel and different cultures, because we talked to a lot of folks who, are on vacations, and this is not a vacation for you. This is a new way of life. And it's really fascinating, the culture changes that we've listened to today. So thank you for sharing your story. And for anybody else who wants to connect with Mark, we'll put those show notes in the description, as well as if you have questions for April and I, you can find a link in the description for us as well. And continue to travel with us through real stories from real people. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank
Mark.
you. Thanks for the opportunity.